Hey everyone, welcome to Ignite Juniors Online. I wonder if you have any habits or any things that you do every day of the week. So maybe you brush your teeth 2 times every day, or some people like to eat an apple every day. Well, in our story today, we're going to learn about a man who prayed to God every day. His name was Daniel, and he prayed to God 3 times every single day. But before we start, I have a challenge for you. So during the story, I want you to look out for this special lion. It's hidden amongst the pictures, so you have to look really hard to find it. And I want you to count them throughout the story. Now, these special lions tell us that this part of the story about Daniel points us to Jesus. We're going to see that there are some parts of Daniel's life which are similar to Jesus' life. But we'll also see that Jesus is much greater than Daniel. And this is a true story, and you can read it for yourself in the Bible in Daniel chapter 6. So Daniel loved God very much. Daniel trusted God and he followed God. And so Daniel loved to spend time with God every day. So 3 times each day, Daniel went to his room, he knelt down in front of the window, and he prayed to God. Now, prayer is talking to God, and we can pray to God anywhere. We can pray to God at any time, and we can pray to God about anything. But it's really good to have a special place and a special time when you can talk to God. And God wants you to talk to him every day. A man called Darius was the king of the country of Babylon where Daniel lived. And Daniel was one of the king's supervisors. Daniel was very good at his job, and the king wanted to make Daniel in charge of the whole kingdom. Now, Darius had other leaders and supervisors too, but they didn't like Daniel, and they tried to find a way to get Daniel in trouble with King Darius. But in his job, Daniel hadn't done anything wrong. They couldn't find any fault with his work. He could always be trusted, and he always did what he was supposed to do. So Daniel's enemies realised that they'd have to make a new law to get Daniel into trouble. So they went to King Darius, and they got him to make a new law for everyone to obey. For 30 days, no one was allowed to pray to anyone except to the king, so everyone had to pray to King Darius only. And if anyone broke the law, then they would be thrown into a den of hungry lions. Daniel loved God, and Daniel knew that it was really important to obey God and to pray to God. So Daniel went into his house as he normally did. Daniel knelt down at his window, as he always did, and Daniel kept praying to God. Daniel's enemies had caught Daniel. They went to King Darius and they told him that Daniel was praying to God. Well, King Darius knew that he'd been tricked. He tried all day to find a way to save Daniel, but he wasn't able to change the law. So he had to obey his law, and Daniel was taken and thrown into the den of hungry lions. The king said to Daniel, "I hope your God can save you." A big stone was placed over the opening of the den of lions, and the king went to bed, but all night long, King Darius couldn't sleep. Early the next morning, the king got up and he rushed to the lion's den. He called out to Daniel, "Daniel, has your God been able to save you from the lions?" Daniel was still alive, and he answered, "God sent his angel to shut the lions' mouths. They haven't harmed me because I haven't done anything wrong." Well, King Darius was really happy. Daniel was lifted out of the lion's den, and he wasn't hurt at all. Daniel had trusted God, and God had saved him. King Darius made a new law for everyone to honour and to respect Daniel's God. He said that Daniel's God is a true God, He is the real king and he saves his people. Now I wonder, did you find the special lions that point us to Jesus? How many lions did you see in the pictures? Well, there were 4 of them in total, and this is where they were hidden. So number 1 was above King Darius. So we saw that Daniel's enemies wanted to get rid of him. They tried to get him in trouble. And this reminds us of Jesus. Jesus' enemies wanted to get rid of him too, and they tried to get him in trouble. Number 2 was behind the king. So in his job, Daniel hadn't done anything wrong, and his enemies had to make a new law to get Daniel into trouble. In his whole life, Jesus hadn't done anything wrong at all. So his enemies had to tell lies about Jesus to get him into trouble. Number 3 was above Daniel praying. And when Daniel knew that he was going to be thrown into the lion's den, he went and he prayed to God. And when Jesus knew that he was going to be arrested and killed on the cross, he went and prayed too. And then number 4 was on Daniel's coat. And this is where the stories of Daniel and Jesus are different. Daniel didn't die in the lion's den. God is a true king, and God saved Daniel from the hungry lions. But Jesus did die on the cross. He really was dead, and God raised him to life again. Jesus died in our place for the wrong things that we've done. And he died so that anyone who trusts in him will have life forever with him in heaven. Thank you for listening today, and I hope you can join us again next week. And don't forget that there's still time to enter our competition. So get a grown-up to send your drawing to Steve, and you might win a prize from our prize box.